just test it out, see how it's going. Hopefully this red box goes away. And are we live? We are. Red box is gone. I can hear myself, and I got to make sure chat is right. Hooray. We've got chat. All right. So before we really get started, just don't forget, Ryan, if you got any questions you need to ask me about any of this stuff, I'm more than happy to talk about it. Like I said,
Well, I knew you were a computer guy. I mean, with software. I mean, and then when you said software engineer, I mean, it's very. I mean, golly, boom, that's a challenging degree.
Yeah, a lot of math, and a lot more math than you'd actually expect, honestly. But I also do have a degree in math. I've got a degree in computer science and math.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, something is texting me. Oh, reminding me to upload the episode that we haven't done yet.
Who's texting you? Justin?
No, my phone is telling me to do stuff.
To upload this?
Yeah, to upload this, and we haven't even started yet.
Series ahead of you?
Yeah, I got to figure out what's going on with YouTube connection these days, because our stream is not doing well right now. It's very blurry
Slow?
on YouTube. Nah, we're fine, but whatever's going out to YouTube is kind of low quality right now. That's okay. We're gonna roll through it, and
when that says I'm connected at 364 kilobytes per second, I don't know if that's good or bad or.
No,
I see it up here in the right corner. Okay.
I may, if it doesn't improve, so just letting you guys know, if it doesn't improve, I will turn my camera off and we'll just talk to each other and hope for that YouTube is all good. But I'm sure you guys will trust me enough to make sure the show's going all right. So, you want to go ahead and hit the intro? I'd say that as I'm the only one that can actually.
Ryan, we'll keep until about 8:25, right?
Yep.
Something like
okay.
That.
Yeah, sounds good.
Somewhere.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, rolling.
Okay. Welcome to this episode of Teague's Take. I'm George Teague, and I'm here because it is Wealth Wednesday. No, we're not going to talk about money, but just about a wealth of knowledge about the Alabama football program. This show is going to be designated to all Alabama things. I know JT and I did speak about the Crimson Tide a little bit this Sunday, but we're bringing in some guests to really dive into this and see what the heck is going on with the Crimson Tide. What's good? What's bad? So we're going to be able to talk about it. Please make sure that you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, the Teague's Take podcast. Yes, sir. We appreciate everybody that jumps in right early. Thank you, Justin, for being here. If you are listening to the podcast and you feel like you want to be able to see us live, make sure you jump on over to our YouTube page. It's Teague's Take podcast on YouTube, where you can see our guests and just, I don't know, review it. Or if you want to come in and ask questions at a live nature, please find us here. So we got some good people lined up today. We got, you'll see more about them. But for the first 30 minutes, we're going to have Ryan Fowler on, who is big time out there in Tuscaloosa, Alabama on Tide 100.9. He's a good friend. We just love him because he's a Cowboy fan, but he's also an Alabama fan. And then after that, we'll have Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine to come on and talk a little bit later in the show as well. Before I bring them in, I do have to say, hey, I think that I need to I don't know. Just tell you guys that y'all keep me and JT lifted up because there's always a lot of stuff going on in personal lives. JT, we haven't been able to talk about it. He's going to have our second grandchild, his second baby, here in a couple months. So I know that weighs on him and his wife Emily quite a bit. We both have jobs, we both got families, and man, just like you guys, we try to escape a little bit and get into the world of football because that's what we like to do. So make sure you're just keeping us in mind because we try to be as real as we can all the time. And so we want to talk real football, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on other stuff today. So I want to go ahead and bring in the analytical one. His name is JT. He's my son. He's my friend. Man, he's everything to me. And we also have Ryan Fowler, as I mentioned, jumping on with us right now. Guys, I have to tell you, before we jumped on this show, I tried to pretend like I was a handyman a little bit. JT, you'd be proud of your old dad, I guess, or whatnot. That's why I'm sitting here sweating. So I was out in the yard, and I was trying to fix me a sprinkler head. So I was digging. I got my hands all dirty. I got mud all over my sweatpants, and man, I feel good. You know why I feel good? Because it worked. Good. I saved myself about 20. Saved myself a couple dollars or something instead of having someone come out here. So
yeah, a lot of dollars.
I'm feeling good about myself. Huh?
I said a lot of dollars because I had all of my sprinkler heads replaced, mainly because it seemed like every time I replaced one, then another one would break, and then I'd replace that one, and then another one would break, and then I had like 7 that I had to replace. So I'm sick of doing this.
That's right. Well, we're people of convenience, but because of that, we had a little bit of leak out there in the yard, and my water bill gets a little bit too high, and I guess that's going to be a good segue. I think that's what you guys call it on the radio, don't you, Ryan? A segue.
We do.
Into the leak that's going on with this offensive line, man. Is it me?
Wow. That was brilliant. That was brilliant.
Oh, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's right. That's the one you need to put the hand clap on. That's the segue.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
So what do you think about it, Ryan? I want to get into it because you kind of hit me offline a little bit and said you felt like we need to talk about it. I know there's a lot of good that we could talk about, but I'm just stuck on the offensive line play, man. Were you at the game? First of all, were you there?
I was, and it was a rainy. Speaking of water, it was a nasty day. Alabama fans, they're the best because I got to be honest. Okay, I loved Alabama football, and I still do. Grew up in this state, but I don't know if I would have went out in the conditions that was inside Bryant-Denny Stadium because it was nasty. Pretty much the entire evening before. It was wet. It was nasty, but. Nick Saban was able to pull it off, and that's why they were kind of doing a little speed rush through that particular game. If you notice, I think they didn't even go to halftime. If they did, it was just a few minutes. But I appreciate, and I always say this: I feature more offensive linemen than anybody in the country, and I mean I'm talking about some of your teammates. I have a lot of those guys on. I try to reach out. Like we had Tony Vaselli on the other day and just wanted to kind of pick his brain about development because I'm looking for an excuse. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how did we get in this type of shape? Because I'm looking at the offensive line. I kept hearing rumblings. And then Nick Saban would come in and compliment those guys in a press conference. And it was kind of confusing. It was like, hold on, whoa. Because that's not what I'm hearing behind the scenes. Well, all of a sudden on a Wednesday, we had a local Tuscaloosa News reporter, and you could probably even ask Stephen coming up about this. And he finally decided to be more transparent with opening up about this offensive line. And it kind of confirmed what I was hearing behind the scenes, that it just wasn't good. And so he finally kind of came clean. I'm not sure if he was trying to recruit, the young man from Vanderbilt or maybe another offensive lineman, or he was trying to sell, hey, our offensive line's not where it needs to be. So I came out and I made a statement that this offensive line would not be as good as last year. And people just started they torched me because I kept saying I don't see an Evan Neal. I don't. I mean, this guy may potentially go and as high as number one. I don't think he'll be there, but he'll be top 3, top 4 pick. And I don't see a guy that could step into that role and be that dominant. This guy gave up 2 sacks his entire collegiate career in 3 years in Tuscaloosa. And so I see a lot of problems. Some of that's because of the opposing defense. I'm sure we'll get into that. But I'm really authentically concerned about this offensive line because I know what we have in quarterback. And if you can give him enough time, he'll pick you apart. But I'm concerned about keeping him upright.
Well, so who's going to be the left tackle? Or I know I'm saying if you had you're way too early kind of stuff. Who's going to protect the backside of?
Well, I don't. I think you'd have to go with Tyler Steen, and I keep reaching out. I've asked some people to give me some evaluations of some of his clips. But see, I think Alabama fans, we're spoiled rotten. I mean, we are absolutely. I mean, we are. I mean, look at guys who come in, Cam Robinson and Jonah Williams, and they come in from day one. Evan Neal started at right tackle. His initial season, and it's like he's made it look easy. I'm talking about Coach Saban, and I don't think it is easy. And you look at Tyler Steen. He's not going to be, he didn't play at Vanderbilt beside, Javion Cohen. So that's going to give him a lot of help in Tuscaloosa that, and you don't have a Bryce Young back there and you don't have the running backs. But when you look at Tyler Steen, I think Nick Saban recruited him for a reason. But I also wouldn't be shocked if they took somebody else in this transfer portal. If there was a left tackle that wanted to win a championship, and did want to go 7-5 and 8-4 to school, I don't think Nick Saban would close the door because I just didn't see. I thought J.C. Latham had a decent right tackle, but it just overall, I mean, that's C- C type offensive line. If they don't get that fixed, that might prevent Alabama, from hoisting up the trophy out in Pasadena.
So, JT and Ryan, do you guys think, I'll ask JT, do you think that this is because we're recruiting a different type of person because of the scheme that we run, more of the lateral stuff, the inside zone, outside zone, not really as much power or gap scheme downhill that maybe we're just finding, like you said, maybe we're just spoiled, used to other type of running game than we are what we see now. JT.
If I understood the question, I don't think so. I mean, for me right now, I'm not even sure that coaching and scheme is the problem particularly. It might just be kind of I'm going to say lack of talent. Not that the guys are not talented, but I don't think they're as good as they had been 2, 3, and 4 years ago. They're like we had talked about before, like the Cowboys, right? The Cowboys used to have an all-world offensive line, and then suddenly they don't. And you don't really know what happened. But I mean, you've got 2 guys that are seniors that are supposed to be on the offensive line that are still having a little bit to be desired, and they've got some time to turn it around. But they've got to. I mean, we've talked about Kendall Randolph, right? Like him being like this tight end tackle type thing. I mean, if he's truly the backup tackle right now, that says a lot to me. That guy is our second best. Is one of the second best along the line there.
Yeah, is he going to change his number? Did he already change his number? He's still got an 85, or are they going to go ahead and put him in the 70 something or
They had him at 60. They had him at 60 on Saturday. Kind of like a baby Chris Samuels out there is what it kind of looked like to me. I mean, but go back to what JT just said. Okay, let's go back to last year at right tackle. Chris Owens, I think, played that, and I think he was playing out of position. I mean, when you look at Chris Owens, I think he's probably a guard if he gets a shot, on Sunday afternoon. But I think Alabama needed him so much they had to bump him out to tackle. And that tells me all I need to know, that they couldn't find anybody that was better option than Chris was on the outside. So when I look at Chris, and I think, listen, you got to credit Chris, but I think he was playing out of position. And nobody throughout the season, because we kept hearing, okay, this is a temporary thing. They'll fix it at some point. And they never was able to fix it. And I think the guy sacrificed, I'm not saying that he would have been a, first round, second round, third round. But I think he sacrificed some, for the betterment of the team, of being able to play out of position. And obviously they needed him at right tackle. And I think that's been evident this spring.
Okay. Well, last little thing on these linemen, I guess, is what about the pass scheme? Are we going to be able to protect Bryce? Nick kind of alluded, and we talked about this Sunday, that they didn't have on all their pass protections and things of that nature. So you really couldn't tell, when you're playing against our guys, schemes like. But did that concern you at all? Any, just on the way we were protecting, or lack of protection during the spring game?
So I don't know football the way that you know football, but I do know this. If you don't have a wide receiver that demands being, that you feel like that you can lock him down with man coverage, then they're going to be able to bring some heat, and that's what really concerns me. Is they're going to bring more than you can block, and if you're having trouble just blocking the base guys, you're going to have to spread some of that love out there on wide receivers. And I featured Coach Rick Neuheisel today, and he said as he evaluated Alabama's spring game, he was more concerned about the receivers than he was the offensive line. And he just said that we've also got accustomed to, the Jalen Waddles, the Devontae Smith, the Henry Ruggs. And when you look at this, there's some guys that are very talented, but they're not there yet. And Ja'Cory Brooks was out for the majority of he was out for all spring. And so Jermaine Burton, the transfer from Georgia, has really been the topic of conversation locally. And I think he's, deservingly so. But if you combine that with that offensive line, you got to have somebody that can force you to get out of man. And if you're able to lock those guys down, a little bit of concerning, and I'm sure they'll work it out. Listen, that's Alabama. Like I said, and maybe Nick Saban was griping about the offensive line, because he said it at halftime with Matt Stitscomb, the All-American, former offensive lineman. He said, we don't have a left tackle that can block Will Anderson. Well, I don't know if they have a left tackle that can block Chris Braswell. And right now he's the third string kind of edge rusher. Third as in behind Dallas Turner, the freshman All-American, and Will Anderson. So he's not really third string, but he's the third pass rush, which is a great pass rush guy if he's your third guy. So, yeah, they were tested, and maybe they were frustrated. Maybe they were lacking self-confidence, and I'm sure Will Anderson instilled that from you in a hurry going up against him. But hopefully they'll find some better options, and I do think Eric Wofford's going to bring a little different approach, and that Doug Marrone, Kyle Flood, I think was pretty solid the year prior, but I didn't see a lot in Doug Marrone, and that would encourage me that he's a college offensive line guy. The NFL, okay, he'll check that box. But listen, I could coach some of those guys, in the NFL as far as the offensive line. And I know I'm saying that sarcastically, but I think when you got to develop a guy into a player, it's a little bit different than coaching on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, well, and I think you're kind of always in a tougher spot when you. I mean, it's nice to be able to bring in transfers that can play at a high level, but I feel like if you have to bring in a senior transfer to play left tackle for you, something's gone wrong.
And to go to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having to go to Vanderbilt to bail Alabama out.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that. I don't know. I'll go on the record and say I'm worried. Maybe it's way too early to be worried, but we'll know sooner or later if it's.
Well, I just don't want to waste Bryce Young. I don't want to waste this defense that they built. Like I said, I know we'll get to it. This defense, guys, it's starting to be kind of mentioned having the potential of, that 92, 2016, 2011. I mean,
they look good.
Dude, there's some dudes.
They just looked cohesive to me. Like they looked like they knew what was going on, and they were just out there just playing football.
Balling.
Now, was that because they were going up against our offensive line?
Well, I'm not even. I'm not even. I'm actually taking the defensive line out of it. To me, just
okay.
Well, because I was like, look, I already know what Will Anderson is. I already know what Dallas Turner is. I don't know that there's any left tackle in the country that's going to be able to block Will Anderson. So, whoever that guy was, sorry, Javion Cohen. Like you was just, it didn't matter. You were getting beat that day. But the rest of the guys, the linebackers and the defensive backs, to me, looked like they were communicating well and was just out there just playing fast and playing football, which is always a good sign when you've got those guys when it looks like they're not thinking, that they're just out there just having fun.
Well, speaking of playing fast, what about secondary? I can't go without talking about the secondary. Seemed like we looked pretty good back there. Had a couple of picks, some guys making some plays, but are we solid back there now? And so I'm going to ask Ryan. So you think we're solid back there? And how is this competition going, I guess, between Malachi Moore and Branch?
Uh-oh. We've lost his audio.
Okay. Well, while you're trying to get him back, I don't know. I'm still interested in trying to see that matchup between these guys. The secondary, as I mentioned before, I think they're looking pretty good. I think our linebacker core, you guys kind of hit on it. I think we're looking pretty salty on defense. I think if we continue to play fast and physical, the way that we showed we can, we'll probably be able to bail out the offense if they are struggling. It all during the course of this upcoming year. Still believe you got to have good defensive guys on the play, and I'm anxious because I need to be able to see good defensive back play, whether it's through scheme. I know there's plenty of talent back there, so I'm still not convinced if it's scheme or whatnot, because it seems like we just give up plays really by alignment. And something else. Is that Ryan? Is he back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Can
you guys hear me okay? Okay.
I
think I got a phone call and it kicked me out there, but I could still see you guys. I could still hear you. George, I'd like to go back to what you were talking about with Malachi Moore and Brian Branch. And I think comfortably right now, Brian Branch is ahead of Malachi Moore. Now, let's give Malachi, and I can give people a little bit behind the scenes. Malachi had a back issue that really cost him. If you remember, freshman year, just kind of burst on the scene, and he was playing with a little bit of a back issue. And for someone, I've been through those, and I could not imagine having to go through the type of situation that he did, and was able to still maintain. But Brian Branch has stepped in there. But I'm very comfortable. What we were just talking about a couple of minutes ago with those lockdown corners. And it's a recipe for success. You've got Kyrie Jackson, which I think played some really good football towards the end part of the season. You look at Kool-Aid McKinstry, a true freshman, and a guy that got All-American in some of that balloting with a freshman All-American. Then you get a transfer in Eli Ricks from LSU. And these three guys are going to be, they're going to be fighting it out for who's going to get those starting two corner roles. If you combine that with DeMarco Helms and Jordan Battle, which, probably should be lining up in the NFL, next Thursday at the NFL draft. I mean, I think he's an NFL type player. And he came back for another year. And then you combine with Brian Branch and the nickelback. And then you combine that you can get pressure, sitting minimum number of guys, and then you can lock some guys down one-on-one. That's a pretty good success. And so the defense really gets me excited. You look at Henry To'oTo'o, I think there's no doubt he's going to have that anchored on that defensive side of the football. But then when you look at that next guy, is it Jalen Moody, which led the entire, both teams in tackles? So he had 6 solo, 9 total, and it was deserving. I mean, I think he played a really good game. The only mistake that I could find on that defensive side of the football is the Jamar Gibbs run, where they kind of got caught on that draw and kind of got sucked in a little bit, and it was, it bounced it right back out and they took it to the house. So that was one mistake. But the defensive line, I know Alabama just lost a transfer, and I guess I'll just assume now that Sark takes all of our guys in our transfer portal, right? So Stephen Wynn just put his name in the transfer portal, so he's a reserve defensive lineman, and but I think defensive lineman, you're okay. I think if there's one position, you seem to be having a pretty good depth at that defensive line. You don't want to lose too many, but I think when that defensive front, Jamil Burrows was named the Dwight Stevenson offensive lineman of the game, and I think rightfully so with the way that he played. I think Freddie Roach has done a great job of that defensive front. I just think this defense, if we're not going to wear them out on the offensive side of the football with having to force them, play a ton of plays, I just feel like that this defense has a chance to be very, very special. And, that excites me, being a defensive-minded guy.
Guess that means I'll get all these tweets again about how they compare to the 1992 or 2011 or 2016, whatever.
Derek Thomas compared to Will Anderson. We're always doing that in Tuscaloosa, which I don't think he's in Derek Thomas's league. Not yet, but he could be.
Yeah, he's good now. He's good. He's wrecking shot. I have to say that. It's going to be fun.
It will be.
To watch. So, all right, I got to ask you one other question before we let you get out of here. I need to know about the Brockemeyer twins. How they doing? Or brothers, anyway. Are they progressing? Do you think they're going to get any time on the field this year, or they're still a year or two away?
I think they're probably a year or two away. And I look at Tommy Brockemeyer, and he'll probably be the first guy that steps in there. He got a little bit of playing time, and with that first team offense, and Dallas Turner just ate him up. I mean, it just, I wish I could sugarcoat it. And that's what's so odd. When you're watching spring game, you don't really know who to pull for. You're like, okay, you want the defense to have success, but then you want your offense to be able. And I think when you look at Tommy Brockemeyer, I think the injury really hurt him. And I don't know if you guys would agree, but the offensive line is the most developmental position that's out there. And some of these guys, like I said, we've expected guys to step in from day one and just be, this dominant left tackle. And I think we kind of accustomed to that. And I also think when you go back to COVID, of no camps and all those different things, I think it may hurt you a little bit. Going up against elite talent, where you put a guy in a camp and you go up against, the guy that's just as good, another 5-star, you find out where you need to work on. And I think Tommy also had a little bit of an injury, and I don't know what that injury was, but Coach Saban talked about it, of maybe that hurt his development a little bit. But I'm not counting him out. I think the pedigree's there. I think everything's there. I think they wanted to put some quality weight on him. He came in with, a little bit light for an offensive lineman. So I think they need to put a little bit more poundage on him. And I think he'll be a ball player. And like I said, I'm not counting him out. I just think, he's probably a year or so away.
All right. Well, it's always good to hear from Ryan Fowler. You can find him on Twitter at Ryan C. Fowler. and on Instagram. I'm not sure how active you are on Instagram, but I know he does have a page there. It's at the game 109, or yes, 1009, whichever way you want to call it. You stream you guys a show for the people that are out of state or something? Is
Yeah,
there a way
They
for
do.
them to
I've listened
find
to
you?
it.
yeah.
Can you tell us where we can find you at?
Well,
there?
and we would ask that you would download the Tide 100.9 app. And for Alabama fans, this is a great way to stay connected, not just because we have a lot of your teammates that, that lead us through. We have Martin Houston, we have Jay Barker, we have Wimp and Barry Sanderson, which were basketball guys there in the morning, but we have 12 hours of generated content. But listen, it's a great way to stay. It even helps me keep up to date with Alabama. So download the Tide 100.9 app. It's a free app, but it literally gives you a chance to stay up. I promise you, there's many times that I see an update or a notification, and it allows me to stay up to date with Alabama. And we got a pretty good team that are written reporters that report on that. But hey, guys, it's always an honor to be on with you guys. George, JT, it's fun to talk football with those that have the same passion as we do. And you guys have fun with Steven coming up in a couple of minutes, and tell him I said a big hello. The guy works his butt off, man. That guy, I'd hate to work his hours. I mean, I see him up, in the middle of the night tweeting and doing work there for Touchdown Alabama. So the guy never sleeps, and I know you guys will have a lot of fun with him. Thank you guys so much.
He got a ghost tweeter, by the way. But anyway, yes.
Oh, is that what it is? I need to get one of those. I need to get one of those. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we do appreciate it, man. Thank you very
You're
much.
more than welcome. You guys have an awesome rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Man, it's always good to be able to talk to legends like Ryan Fowler, because they're shooting, especially when they're sitting there and they see it all the time and they're diving. As much as we think we know about it, JT, just being there and being around it all the time is just, I don't know. I wish I kind of had that luxury sometimes where I could just sit there and sit in the motor coach, hint, and
Oh my
just
God.
be there all the time. That's an inside joke. No one knows about the motor coach reference. But anyway, JT got it. So.
Yeah,
all right.
and,
Well, it looks like
Stephen M. Smith is here. I'm asking him to come in through a slightly different link. I don't want any collisions. He will be right back, and then we'll pull him in here.
Well, that sounds good, and it'll be great to have him in, because he is really good. The stuff he writes about and all this kind of stuff. And man, you guys got to make sure you guys follow this gentleman as well. This guy is in the know. He has his own talk show or podcast and stuff as well. And man, he brings the energy. That's why we really like to have him. So, so let's go ahead and get Stephen in here. And hey, Stephen, welcome to the show, my brother. We're glad you're here. And any comments you need to make about Justin Riley real fast, just why he can't say anything? I know you got something smart to say about Justin Riley. So, can you hear us? Oh, well, we have Justin in, but I asked about the payroll on the Bama Standard, and he said you were the highest paid member of the crew on Tuesday night. So we wanted to have you on over and see if you can share some of the wealth. Dollars, real dollars, not just your knowledge about Alabama football, but some of that money. Yeah, can you?
I don't mind sharing. See me, I don't mind sharing.
Okay, I'm gonna text you my Cash App real quick, and you just go ahead and send me I don't want much. $20, man, just $20. That's all. That's all I need.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So we do appreciate you coming in, man, and we know we're limited on your time as well, but there's some other positions we want to talk to you about. But I just want to follow up. Me and JT want to know what you think about our offensive line play. Well, let me back up first. Were you at the scrimmage as well? Were you there in person?
Well, of course, they're not going to let us there in person, but I got guys that were there, so they fed me all I need to know.
Do you hear that, JT? He got people. He got people, to go out there and stuff. They get out there. But anyway, so what do you think about it when you saw it? I've been saying it looked porous. I'm a little bit concerned, a little bit worried about it. Is it overreaction on all of our parts, or is there some truth that we need to get better up front on the offensive side?
I mean, there is a slight concern just because, last year Bryce took 39 sacks. Now, a lot of that was Bryce, holding the ball too long. You got to have that mental clock in your head. I got to get rid of this ball. I got to get rid of this ball. But some of that was also, right tackle never got solved. Right guard at times, the turnstile. Center didn't get solved until the second half of the Iron Bowl. So there is a cause of some slight concern. However, you had some guys that were banged up all spring. They didn't practice. They didn't go. So when you have veteran guys that don't play and you're putting some young guys out there and you're going up against Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, and Chris Braswell, crap, you're going to get blown up because you're going against those three. You're going against those three Tasmanian Devils. So you get some guys healed up, which you will have those guys healed up, summer workouts, and the guy from Vanderbilt, Steen, will make his appearance on the summer. And I think Coach Walford, once you get a healthy roster, you'll be able to clean some of that up. But I think the main thing, along with the offensive line protecting, is Bryce Young has to realize, hey, I got 2 to 2.5 seconds to let this puppy go. I can't hold this ball for 5 seconds. I got to let this ball go.
Mm-hmm. Well, there ain't a whole lot of routes in that. And I'm anticipating that we're going to see a whole lot more screens, running back screens and wide receiver screens. But I don't know. I'm just hoping it all works out so that we can move the ball, run the ball, actually. All right. So what about the running backs? How'd you guys really grade out Jamar Gibbs?
I think he is explosive. I mean, I know people look at, well, he had just a 75-yard run, but even his small runs, he was making quick decisions. You see the jump cuts, you see the contact balance, being able to break tackles and move. So I thought he looked good. I thought Trey Sanders, I wanted to see more of him. Maybe it's trying to save him for the season, possibly. I even thought the freshman, little Miller from Texas, had some tough runs in there. So I'm not concerned with the running back room. You get McClellan and Roydell healthy for summer, your running back room's fine. I think Gibbs and McClellan are going to be your 1-2, and you work Trey in there, you work Roydell in there, but I think Gibbs and McClellan are your 1-2.
Yeah, and I apologize for Miller for calling him by the wrong name all night on Sunday. Just in case you did hear it. So that's my fault there, but Justin got me right, got me worked out with that. Okay. Anybody surprise you on the offensive side or the defensive side? Did you say, man, these guys kind of showed up?
Okay, so I'm going to start defense first. Jamil Burrow surprised me. I kind of knew he had some dog in him on the interior, but he really say, but I'm that dude. He came out there, really pressing the pocket, getting that interior rush that we all want to see, because we're all so used to seeing not just one guy do it, but we're the creatures, and I want to see guys at people's neck, boom, 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 come from all angles. And to see that start with Burrows, that was really kind of refreshing to see that. So I think he surprised me a little bit. And then offensively, Christian Leary. I knew Leary was fast. He came out of high school fast. But to see how he has grown within the route tree, he put some combinations together. I'm like, look at this cat right here. This cat put some combinations together. So I thought Leary offensively and Burrows on defense kind of surprised me a little bit.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know. So I want to ask you about the quarterbacks as well. Of course, we know we got Bryson. He's going to be in all this kind of stuff. And we watched Jalen play as well. So I got a small critique, and I guess I want to hear from both of you guys. on what you guys think about this, because obviously he can run the ball, take off, and go be another running back, or things of that nature. But do you think his arm is really? How much more development do you think he really needs? Because it just seemed like he wasn't consistent, maybe with his accuracy and things of that nature. Or was I just looking at that wrong in the little bit that I was able to see on Saturday?
I think some
Steven,
of
you
it.
can go first.
I think some of it may have been the wet ball. I know Saban mentioned they had not practiced a lot of wet practices in spring. So a lot of that may have been the ball. I know the centers were having a hard time snapping the thing up to the quarterback anyway. But
Okay.
I think the main thing with Milroe is going to be, consistently mixing those speeds on his passes. Sometimes you need that fastball. And then sometimes you pepper that change up in there, you loft that thing, let the receiver run under it a little bit more. So I think once he gets the firm gist of mixing those speeds, using baseball or football here, but mixing those passes in there, and then stepping into the throws more. There are times where he gets caught kind of throwing off his back foot, but step into that throw, like really step into that throw. But the touchdown to Leary, he stepped into that ball, and you saw how it came out. So I think a bit more mixing speeds and then really trusting himself to step all the way into the throw. If he does those things, I think Milroe's fine.
Okay. All right. JT, how do you feel about that? And is there a competition going to be between him and Ty Simpson to see who's going to be the backup quarterback?
Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be a little bit of a competition there. I'm not actually sure who the backup's going to be. I like Jalen Milroe. I like his ability to run. And clearly, Ty Simpson was trying to show off a little bit of his wheels too. But I think that Jalen Milroe's probably a little bit more dynamic in that sense right now. But Ty Simpson probably throws the ball a bit better. So I think that the winner of that backup position is going to be I think it's going to be wholly dependent on what the offensive line looks like. Because if the offensive line ain't very good, give me Jalen Milroe because he's going to be able to make something happen if he needs to get out and boogie. Not that Ty Simpson can't, but I don't know that Ty Simpson's going to be one that's going like break one for 60. But Jalen Milroe might.
I'm just saying, JT, like Ty Bucket, he looked like old Fran Tarkenton back in that heyday, scrambling around. Steve Young back there scrambling around like that. Like I'm like,
he was running for his life.
I mean, he was running for his life, but Ty also had a few passes, including a couple to Jones Bell, where he layered that ball in there. I'm like, he got a little zip right there. So I think if you're the Bama fan base, you have to look at, okay, a lot of teams have one quarterback, and God forbid something happened to him because it all goes to crap if that guy goes down. For Alabama, you got a room here where you don't want nothing happening to Bryce, but what Milroe did show you is if I got to be out here, I can make some shake. And Ty Simpson shows if I got to be out here, I can formulate you something to make something shake. So I think that was the encouraging part is you got a room where you got quarterbacks that can do a little something. They still got room to grow, but they can do a little something.
Yeah. So do we got enough at wide receiver for them to, as we're saying, it didn't feel like we could run the ball as well. JT gave some pretty good stats earlier. I don't know if we were live on the show or not, if that was post conversation when you were talking about the amount of runs in the spring versus pass. And was that intentional or was that because of the linemen that we had in? But can the quarterbacks, do we have the weapons that we really, really need? We're spoiled with the other receivers that we've had the past few years, but do we have the guys at wide receiver to really continue to elevate Bryce Young and anybody else that may have to throw to them in the future?
I think Bama does, George. I think the one guy that everybody's looking at now is what is Tyler Harrell's decision, the transfer from Louisville, the speedster over there. I know he was at the spring game. He really enjoyed his visit. He felt the love. He felt the welcome. He felt, the joy inside that atmosphere. And in the next couple of days, I don't know which day, but in the next couple of days, the decision is going to come from him on social media. And if you get that young man who in high school was running a 10.35 100-meter dash speed. I don't know what he's running now, but 10.35 100 meters, that's burning the track field up right there. So if you bring that young man in and you pair him with a Jermaine Burton, a Christian Leary, and the other guys you have, but I feel like you would have that group that Bryce Young can really do some things with. Because I just go back to the national championship game when Jamison Williams went down and Kirby Smart's like, thank God they got nobody else with that kind of speed. Nick Saban's like, I ain't finna get myself in that mess again. I'm stacking up all the speed I know. So you bring over a Jermaine Burton that's got some of that. You're growing a Christian Leary and a JoJo Earl that's got some of that. You're bringing in an Isaiah Bond in the summer, and Bond may be the fastest player Saban's ever recruited. You got him coming in the summer. You got Kobe Prentice in the summer. If you add a Tyler Harrell, I mean, you can have a 4x4 relay team. I mean, you can really have that in Tuscaloosa. So we're waiting on to see what Harrell's decision is. But if he comes in here, that is speed. That is faster than the speed of sound.
Well, you know what they say about speed, right? It kills, man. It kills. It kills. So bring it on. And we do apologize if any of our audio has been slow or whatnot. Speaking of speed kills, because we know that we need our audio to be right and all that kind of stuff. Man, I'm just on it today, and JT with these little catchphrases and these little stuff, man.
I mean, hold on, George. Where's your NIL, man? Where's yours?
Oh, I'm telling you, that's why I'm trying to get you to give me the $20, man. I need you to sponsor your boy.
Yeah, we're about to start a collective. Your $20 is seed money.
Look, we need to call them High Tide or High Tide, whatever they is, High Tide Traditions. Something.
That's right. That's right. Because, well, you won't know this, but I'm going to go ahead and say this because JT will get this and the people that listen to our show all the time. Because I need to give JT $20 too, because he's actually picked up his diploma off the floor. I know he's trying to be slick over there.
No, wait a minute. See, you didn't notice it on Sunday though, because it was there. It was right here on Sunday.
Man, you had me doing a midnight podcast.
It wasn't midnight. 9:30.
Well, you know, somewhere it was the next day, and I felt like I was in it.
It's always the next day somewhere.
Well, you know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm sticking with. So, anyway, you know, okay. So you said that you had a couple guys that you thought were great. I have to ask I guess the one negative piece of what is there someone that you just, you know, maybe disappointed you offensively and defensively?
Okay,
I know you're a homer and you gotta do it right and you gotta give it all.
So number one, I thought I would see more catches from my man JoJo Earl. He had some drops. I'm like, JoJo had some drops out there, man, and a couple of them, it was like I think he was ready to turn and go. And I'm like, the ball, Joe, the ball ain't there yet. He was ready to turn and go. And so that was a bit disappointing there seeing Joe, because he got it in him. It's just, I don't know if he tense up, if he nervous, if he's scared. I don't know what the case is, but I was kind of disappointed there with JoJo out there. And then defensively, who was I disappointed in defensively, man? Hold on.
A whole lot of people.
I mean, it wasn't a whole lot to be disappointed in defensively. I guess if I had to just give, man, this is a tough one. Malachi Moore for falling, man. Why you fail on the touchdown catch, Malachi? Malachi failed, man. I don't know if his cleats got stuck, man. Malachi kind of failed.
Did you just say his cleats got stuck? Are you trying to make up something?
Man, I don't know what the case was. Man, my boy failed, man, on the Leary touchdown, but still had a good day. He still had, 7 tackles, pass breakup. So still had a pretty good day out there. But I'm going to say this. The one overlooked thing out of all, George and JT, the kickers made every field goal. We got to talk about that. Like,
we ain't rush. There wasn't no rush.
Hey, look, at least okay. Let me tell you something about the kickers. We had a good thing going since Will Reichert has graced Alabama with his presence.
I still have to give his family a fruit basket. Still got to give him that fruit basket.
Now, now they've been the special teams, at least kicking the ball, has been our strength. Now, that being said, in order to not jinx what we got going on anymore, there will be no more kicker and special teams talk on this show. Okay, we are going to pretend that they don't exist.
Okay.
And hopefully things will continue the way they have been.
So in JT's words, we're going to pretend they out in the back playing Madden. All right, gotcha. So Justin Riley actually commented a good point about Tim Smith. That's another one I want to see more out there. And I didn't see enough of Tim Smith out there. And I don't know if I don't know where he is in relation to that defensive interior rotation. I know he's in the rotation, but after seeing Burrows get out there and the freshman Otis got a sack and Tim Keenan III was out there doing his thing, I'm like, where's Tim Smith in all of this? Like, he's supposed to be the behemoth out there just killing people. Like, where is he? Did not see him out there much at all. So that kind of had me scratching my head a little bit there.
Well, I don't know. I ain't got a whole lot to say about the defense either. Like you said, it's kind of tough to. I don't know. They just dominated our offense. It seemed like so much, and that maybe it's not fair. Maybe it's overreacting.
Look, we got Will Anderson and Will's two sons. You got Will and his two sons, Dallas and Chris Braswell. So, all I'm saying is Pete Golden. If what I'm hearing out here is true, where there's a package potentially with Will, Dallas, and Chris all on the field at the same time, we need to see that package. We need to see that package. If that package, if that's legit, we got Will, Dallas, and Chris Braswell on the field. Put it out there. I need to see this.
They're going to let them guys up front eat like that, or they're going to try to put it in their linebackers' hands? So, okay, so here's my question. At the end of the year, and I know I won't remember the answer, but at the end of the year, who's going to be the leading tackler on defense?
All right. I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna say Henry T for now. I'm gonna probably regret it because I think Moody may surpass him, but I'm gonna go Henry To'o for now.
Okay, all right, JT.
That's kind of where I was leaning. Oh man, I don't know because just to be different, I'm gonna go with Moody. I just feel like I feel like Moody is gonna be the guy that is left over in blocking. Right? They're gonna be scheming. Like, you got to make sure you try to block Will Anderson, i.e., just whatever side he's on, check the run to the other side. And then you probably going to have to double team Dallas, sift your way up to the linebacker, which is going to be toe-to-toe, and it's going to be Moody's job to actually make the tackle.
Running free. Just running free.
Hold on. Why is JT not on the defensive staff right now? I like that. I like that. Because my second guess was going to be Jordan Battle. That was my second guess. My second guess is going to be Jordan. They're going to probably go Jordan. We want you playing toward the box. So if anybody think about breaking free, Jordan, tear him up. tear him up, Jordan. Tear him up.
All right. Let's do a quick pop quiz. Let's see how well you know the defense from last year. I just pulled up the tackle stats. We're going to combine solo and assisted tackles. So the stat is total tackles.
Okay.
Can you name the top 3 in total tackles last year?
Me?
Well, yeah, anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Henry To'o, Will Anderson, DeMarco Helms.
That is correct. In that order, actually. In that order.
That's why he works the way
and
he
Jordan
works.
Battle.
Though.
Jordan Battle is 4th, 2 tackles behind DeMarco Helms.
Which is weird because you think about it, DeMarco spent the first half of the year, the first few games hurt, with that ankle issue. So it's crazy how he was the one that finished third.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, solo tackles, they were all very close. Justin Riley says you get a raise from the Bamber Standard for that. I'll put your if you can give me who the number 5 guy is, then I'll have him give you your $20 back that you owe him.
You gave me $20 back?
Snap. 5, Christian Harris.
It is Christian Harris by a long shot, actually.
I ain't giving my $20 back. That's all I know. So whatever it is. Oh, good. That's good stuff, brother. I think he can pull it up. I don't know. You over there looking at the internet too, Steven? You got
I know, right?
Screen open.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's see. If you can get this one, I know you cheating. If you can get this one, I know you cheating. If you can get this one, I know you cheating. How many tackles total did Bryce Young have last year?
None.
7.
Tackle somebody on an interception or something.
He had 7 total tackles.
You said
6
Bryce
assists,
Young or Byron Young?
1 solo. No, I said Bryce Young.
Or Byron
Young.
He said
Number
Bryce.
9. The Heisman winner is number 25 or number 24 on the team. Total tackles.
How do you have that many? He didn't even throw that many interceptions.
They got him on here as 6 assisted tackles.
I didn't know what.
What
I don't know.
looking at? Whose stat sheet you looking at?
This is College Football Reference.
What?
I don't know. Somebody go check him and figure it
Maybe
out.
they probably gave him some of Battle's tackles.
they probably, you know what? They gave him some of DJ Dale's tackles. That's what they did. They gave him some of DJ Dale's.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, I don't know. How'd you feel about it at the end of it? You're looking at the team, and I'll let JT go first on this. When you're looking at it, how are you feeling about the team? You happy? You're excited? What's the adjective? What is it? You're disappointed? Not sure yet?
I am. Man, I should have looked at my SAT words. I am conflicted because. Oh, come on, Justin! You ain't have to call Ben Davis out like that. That's messed up. So I am very excited about the defense. I'm not so excited about the offense. I think that we will be able to get by on offense because we are still better than most people on the schedule.
Okay.
I will go ahead and say right now that basically, like, if for some reason we can't, so the A&M game last year was like 41-38 or something like that. That game ain't gonna be like that next year. It's gonna be like 17-10 or something like that.
Low score.
And we're gonna have to win that game on defense. I feel like this year we're gonna have to actually score on defense to win. Like, the defense might actually have to spot us some points against A&M because A&M's front is going to be very, very good. Now, the rest of the schedule, I don't think they're going to have fronts like that. But if we have to we are going to have to run into an A&M. I think they're going to have a very good defensive line. And then, if we can make it to the playoffs, then we'll see from there. But that is my biggest concern is, even when we saw the Auburn game last year when they gave up 7 or 8 sacks, like if that is something that is going to happen at any point in the season, that game is going to be a loss. They're not going to be able to climb out of they're not going to be able to be down 17 points and beat teams like they may have been able to in the past. I think they're going to have to stay on schedule a lot more often than they did last year.
All right. JT's SAT word was conflicted. I don't know if that's an SAT word or not, but
no.
Yeah,
I said I should have been
there's
prepared.
nothing
I wasn't prepared for that one.
Well, my fault. On Teach Take, we're unscripted. We just kind of go with it and do what we got to do. Steven, what do you say, man? Well, what's your adjective?
I'm not going to use an SAT word, but I felt good. Walking out of Bryant-Denny, I really felt good. I felt great about this defense. I feel like offensively, it's going to once again reflect on the man that is not on the field, but in the booth, Bill O'Brien. I don't know what is about Bill in this booth. I don't know if he's hiding bottles of Hennessy up there or Jack Daniels. He just don't want to come down and coach. I don't know what the case is with Bill O'Brien, but once again, it's going to fall on him. And can he get out of his own way at times when we're in the red zone and he wants to call 4 verticals instead of running the football? Can Bill O'Brien get out of his own head? That's my concern, because people look at, well, Pete Golding. I think Pete Golding's fine. Pete Golding.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this about Bill O'Brien, because you mentioned trying to get Bill O'Brien out of his, or trying to get Bill O'Brien get out of his own way and run the ball when he needs to and things like that. This is what I want you, when you're watching the season this year, when you have that thought of, can he get out of his own way? Just ask yourself, can we actually run the ball though? And if the answer is, I'm not sure, then maybe, you lay off the Bill O'Brien for just a second there and just be like, well, maybe we couldn't actually do it. We didn't have the talent or whatever. But just that's what I'm going to keep in my mind all year is, can we actually run the ball?
Well, I will have that JT as a reference. So I will definitely have that as a reference. But you have A&M, that's kind of that game. Me, week 2, when Bama goes to Austin, Texas, that will be the, I guess, uberly hyped up matchup of uberly's a word, but I'll make it a word today. That will be the hyped up matchup, because when you've got Sarkisian and a bunch of other former Saban staffers, coaches, and you have quite a few former players on Texas. Mr. J.I. or a J.I. Hall was the latest to make his commitment to the Horns. And then you got Texas fans going, we back now. We going to be back now. Texas, you've been screaming that since Colt McCoy got knocked out in 2009. And you still say, well, if Colt didn't get hurt, we would have slaughtered Alabama. You've been hanging on to that same beer and cigarette for over 10 years now, Texas. So we will see if Texas is legitimately where Texas is supposed to be, or is this still lip service as usual? So that game in Austin on September 10th, yeah.
Yep, and I do plan on being there. We'll see if JT and I can make it down there for that one. It ain't too far from us. So I need to kind of wrap this up with this a little bit, because you guys are using your SAT words, and Justin kind of asked about, what my word of the day is and all this kind of stuff. So first, Stephen M said the word uberly was actually a word. I'm going to give you a pass on that. I guess if I had to put in a sentence, I could say, hey, I was.
Merriam-Webster says
I made it home very uberly, because I had too many cervezas that evening.
Still reserving.
So I'll try to give you a pass on that. And then I guess I'd be remiss if you know what today is, right?
Oh, he used remiss. Look at that.
Oh, whoa, there we go.
But today is April 20th. That's 420. No, I don't indulge in any of that. But I'm sure there's some people that are probably using the word weed all day today in some form or fashion.
I think Stephen A. Smith used about 9 times on First Take this morning.
Yes, it's unfortunately, I can't believe they turned that into something, but whatever. It's became legal in New Mexico and all that kind of stuff too. So it's making its way around. So that could be a word of the day. But my last one that I think I would like to close this with is I'm going to say it's spoiler. 2 reasons. One, I don't play this game either, but my wife and my daughter play it all the time. JT, I'm not sure if you're on this old Wordle game.
Mm-hmm.
But spoiler was the word for today. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have told everybody. Just
It can't be. There's too many letters. Don't lie to the people like that.
Yeah. Well, they just have to take out one of the letters. Take out one of the words.
Yes,
Oops.
yes.
So, it just because we don't want to spoil anybody's words on Wordle because people get kind of addicted to that thing and just I don't know.
Yeah.
People wake up what time it starts or when the words come out, but it seems like people are missing part of their work day playing this stupid game.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering how many teams are actually going to be coming out to try to spoil our season next year.
All of them.
People are always hating on what we do, and we did a good job of not being able to show the world what our team looks like on A-Day because it wasn't on the national station or whatever. So there's going to be a lot of speculation out there, and as you said very well, Stephen M. Smith, I think Texas is going to come in thinking they're going to do something, and
Oh my God,
Sarkisian's going to he's going to have a bad week, after we go into his place and beat them.
Yeah, we may at that point we may want to alert the authorities to keep all bottles away from Sark once that game's over.
And Ajayi.
Yeah, and Jaleel Billingsley too. All 3 of them.
Yeah. I forgot.
Yeah, if those 2 end up starting, then I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. I'm just being serious. Like if they transfer in and are starters, then the way I saw this Texas game going, watching them play last year, was like Texas is gonna score like they're gonna feel good for about a quarter and a half. They're gonna go into halftime, and then their offense will disappear, just like they do every week.
It always happens like that, doesn't it?
But if those 2 are starting, their offense may not get going that early in the year. Like week 3, and you gotta play an 11 o'clock game against Alabama.
I will say this. I would love for this to happen if Texas pulls the USC move from 2016 and they crawl on the field like dogs, thinking they're gonna actually do something, and then Bama puts the smack on Texas. I love that. That'd be funny.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know what that game's going to be like. How they're going to be hyping this up around here. Being out here in Texas, you just hear it a little bit different when it's come from Texas A&M and Texas, and anytime they're playing Alabama. So,
I will say this though. I think I'm not into how the
sponsored by White.
I don't know how the TV contracts, but I find this. I think ESPN and ABC will fight for that game. I think
how do we got it at 11 o'clock though? How did that happen?
Because isn't that game on Fox? All right, so
Fox
look, I've been
get that game.
Because it's a Big 12 game. They're playing in a Big 12 venue. Therefore, it's a Fox game.
Oh man, golly.
You know how hot it's going to be at 11 o'clock? I might have to pass on that game now that we're talking about it.
So there's been a lot of talk on the internet. There's been a lot of talk on the internet about, this, and there's been a lot of going back and forth between people who work for Fox and just like the fans that are on Twitter complaining. Yeah, well, Justin, yes, it is on Fox. It's Fox's big noon game at 11 o'clock, just like how they do the Red River rivalry shootout, whatever.
Okay, JT, the only way they can make this better for us, they better have Gus Johnson on the call. If I got to sit through some heat.
I think they are going to have Gus Johnson on the call.
If I got to sit through some heat, I better hear Gus say, oh my gosh, wow, what a play by Bill. Touchdown, Texas. Pow, pow, pow. I hear Gus Johnson. They gonna have me sit
yeah,
through
no,
heat.
I think it is going to be Gus Johnson, but the rebuttal that Fox has put out has and I don't know if their numbers are true or not, but they showed the numbers of the noon spot versus CBS's primetime spot and ESPN's primetime spot. And they claim that they actually draw more eyes at 11 o'clock than the other two stations do at other times. So they said that big noon ain't going nowhere. That's when they play in the game.
All I'm going to say is my first thought. Gus Johnson better be on this call. He better have all the Red Bull and coffee in him because I want him on hyper. I want Gus Johnson all hyper.
It just means the parking lot's not going to get it. When you play an early game like that, it just means you don't tailgate beforehand. You have your party afterwards, at least for the winter. Anyway, so I don't know. All right, man. Well, any other takes you got for us, Stephen, before we let you get out of here?
Man, any other takes? Nick Saban, the last time he wore that electric blue blazer was 2017 spring game. Bama went on to win the national championship. He pulled that blazer out again. So either Aflac is paying them big money, or we could be seeing another national championship on the horizon, or it's more than likely both. So there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are not mutually exclusive. That they're both can be true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can find Stephen M. Smith. I think that's your handle on Twitter. What is you're a Coach M. Smith on Twitter.
Universal World or
no, on Instagram.
That's the Instagram.
Universal World.
Not four numbers. Yeah, I know.
What is it? Universal World
9019.
Yeah, 9019.
Look, okay, it was late at night. It was like 2:00 in the morning.
Was there 9,000 other people that chose it before you?
Probably so. Hey, look, it was 2:00 in the morning. I'm sitting here waking up. My eyes weren't completely open. I just grabbed the phone and went on Instagram and did something. So, yeah.
Oh, man. Affleck. No.
I need to get that sound on the board.
Yeah. Affleck. You might have to pay for that one, though, or something.
Oh, you're right. Probably.
Okay, so you would Touchdown Alabama Magazine. How do people find you? People that want to know more about Alabama and what you write on and what you're doing. Tell us about that and also the podcast or the streaming show that you do. Let us know about that, please.
Oh, yeah. So they can find me at touchdownalabama.com. That's touchdownalabama.com. We cover the whole gamut when it comes to Tide football. It was an outstanding spring, and looking forward to looking at some of these summer enrollees coming in. Isaiah Bond and company. They'll be here between May and June. So summer's going to be pretty interesting there, but that's touchdownalabama.com. And the show, of course, is the Bama Standard on Tuesdays with Justin Riley, myself, comedy crazy legend Steve Brown, all his antics. Marvin Constant, who just enjoys taking shots at me for some odd reason, but I cock and fire right back at him. We all have fun with each other. So that's the Bama Standard. JT has grown a love for the show. So absolutely. And then 3 days a week for Touchdown Alabama, I got In My Own Words, which is my own show, which is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is very good, man. You guys need to make sure you follow him and listen to all the things that he has because they do a great job. Justin Riley and the Bama Standard, along with them, I'm telling you, it's hilarious. You guys need to. There's a lot of great information, but they have a really good time and a lot of fun. And then Stephen M., he hits it hard in his own words as well. I've been able to be on his show and take part of that as well. So,
well, how come I ain't got no invite yet?
Look,
JT,
Don't make me have to hit the boo button.
I'm actually working on your introduction, JT.
That was good. That was full of it. You need to put that in there. Don't you have something in there? He's lying, or he's full of it, or some kind of button like that.
No, all I got is.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
That's right. Oh man, that's good. That's good. Well, man, we really do appreciate you for jumping on with us and just giving us insight, giving us a little inside scoop on it. I know you said you're good, you're feeling good about it. JT's conflicted. I think I'm kind of in the middle of that somewhere. I'm going to say, if I had to use a word, I think it would be optimistic, because I'm going to be optimistic that we can get better on offense. I feel good about where we are and what we can do. But I do know that I feel like we got to get better, whether that's getting healthy, maybe that's a little bit scheme or whatever it is. I think it's just kind of early. And April's such a long ways away from September. And so I was looking forward to see what happens and how we get better and really what opening day looks like. And then, of course, week 2, I'm fired up about it already because when Bama comes out here, I need to make sure.
3, I think. I think it's it's Utah State, Vanderbilt, and then Texas.
I wonder how we. Well, I guess Utah. I don't know how we got away without having a prime time game.
Texas is 2. Vanderbilt's like game 6, 5 or 6. Is Vanderbilt 2? I don't think Vanderbilt's 2.
Let me see if I can find the schedule since we're here.
We got to get it right.
Yep. And Utah State. Yep. Texas. Oh, then it's Louisiana Monroe, then Vanderbilt.
Yeah, all right.
Man. How do we get Louisiana Monroe? I mean, we got a couple of bad ones, man. We're going to have to hear people talking about those first couple of weeks. But whatever.
Well, that's fine. That falls in line with everybody else's schedule.
I mean, you still got to continue to beat the doors off Monroe after that, 07. You still remember 07. You still got to, yeah.
Okay. Well, appreciate you again, my man. Thank you for coming on. We'll do this again. Whenever you need me, or if you feel like inviting JT on to your show in his own words. We will
have JT on here because we gotta get more of the analytical side of JT in here. Mm-hmm. So we gonna have JT on here, and maybe JT can bring his SAT word of the week on the show.
Yeah.
SAT word of the week.
Yeah, he can do it. He can do it. He's good. I'm just proud of him because he got his diploma up. So
yeah, now every week I'm just gonna move it. I'm just gonna move it in random places. That's gonna be the new thing.
Yeah. No, it's kind of cool right there. I kind of like that spot. I'm sure Emily moves it when she has to come in and try to do a little bit of work or something. But anyway, appreciate it again, my brother Steve. We'll let you log off now, and we'll finish up and call it a night. So thank you guys. Thank you, Steve, very much for being a part of the Teague family. You're a Teagster, my man. You're a Teagster. You're welcome to come on anytime, and we're going to have you and Justin on here together one time. Let y'all battle a little bit.
Absolutely, man. Have fun with you guys. George, JT, you take care. And hey, JT, we will have you on the show, man. Do not come at me shooting. Do not.
All right.
All right, brother. Thanks, my man. And there we have Stephen M. Smith. I told you he always brings the heat because, man, he brings the energy. I like to see him as a coach. What do you think he'd be like in the locker room, JT, if he was a coach and just getting the team ready? You think he can get you fired up a little bit?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He'd be a player's coach for sure. I think half the time he's that coach that nobody can take seriously, but he'll get you ready to play.
Yeah, I think so. He's definitely a motivator, and he does that. And he always has. He's just full of energy, but as you could tell, he's full of knowledge too. Just shooting off those stats and understanding all of it. Oh, he does coach? I didn't know that. What position does he coach? That would be, I guess, for the people on the podcast and can't see the thing up that Riley says that he's coaches at his high school. First of all, I need to know what the name of his high school is and what position it is. Maybe he coaches kickers. Maybe that's why he brought that up.
I told
he
you
can
we're
fit
not
in
talking
that
about
room.
kickers on this show no more.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying that he could be a pretty good special teams coach, something of that nature. So, anyway, man, it's been good, JT. I think they enlightened me on a few things, both of them. I'm thankful for Ryan and Stephen for coming on and really diving into it. So I feel a little bit better. I still have my concerns a little bit, but in the end, I think we're going to be all right. We'll see how it goes. What do you think, JT? We're gonna be all right, man.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
make me
I mean,
feel good.
I think there's gonna be a little bumps and bruises. I don't think that we're gonna be clearly as dominant as we have been, but that's okay. I mean, I still think still think they're gonna be a very good football team. I just think there are gonna be some dogfights that they're gonna have to get into, which isn't usually the case. But I think there might be a few more. Some other shows call it crock potting. It takes a while to cook it to cook something, but at the end, there's Alabama leans on you kind of in the fourth quarter, and they put the game away early in the fourth quarter. Much like that Tennessee game, I think this last year, Tennessee was actually pretty close for a while, and then they ends up losing by 28, and you're like, what happened? It was like, well, the fourth quarter happened, and I think there might be a few more dogfights where it might be close for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah. So it's Texas. What is the game, the staple game that really says, okay, this is who we are? Is it versus A&M? Is it versus Arkansas? Is it? I know he mentioned something about Ole Miss. Some others,
I think by the A&M game, that is enough to know what the team is. You will have played Texas, Arkansas, and A&M, and I think A&M is probably the toughest game on the schedule so far.
Okay, all right, I'm down with that. Well, we'll be looking for that mid-October or early October, I guess. But yeah, that'll be a good one to watch, and I agree with you. I think that'll be one that kind of tells us who we are, and you win that one, whether close or not. That'll be a big tell for us, I believe. So hopefully we're doing pretty well beforehand and fix out all our kinks by then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but in a couple of weeks we're going to be back on with an NFL draft special. We do have Bobby Belt, who's a beat writer out here in Dallas, who's going to help us analyze the Cowboys NFL draft. It should be good. I am also working on another deal. Maybe I'll be going live with Millions on for the draft. Just working out those things. JT and I are figuring that out on how that's going to look or if it's going to work at all. But in a couple weeks. So, Craig, make sure every 2 weeks right now. So we won't be back on until May the 4th, 8 p.m. Central Time. Talking more pro football on that episode and see what's up with the Dallas Cowboys. Right? Anything I missed, my friend, before we call it a night?
No, I think that is it. I guess I gotta hit the.
Thank you for your patronage.
Yeah.
Remember to like and subscribe and follow and do all those other things.
Yep, we do appreciate that. And just in case y'all were wondering, shoot, Steven, my Cash App is Glue31, GLUE 31. Go ahead and send that $20 over. But anyway, man, we really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for doing that. Yeah, Justin, we'll come back on. Come have a good time. We got to do some kind of joint little deal. I think we talked about it before. I think it'd be great to do some kind of simulcast or whatever you call it, where we can do it both together. I think it'd be great. So let's try to work that out. But we do appreciate everyone tuning in. As JT said, hit that subscribe button, that like on any of your podcast channels. You can find us live on YouTube on every other Wednesday night. If you get lost somewhere, just go to Teague's Take Podcast on YouTube and watch all the other shows. There's a lot of good things on there, and you can also know when the upcoming shows are coming if you get lost. All right. So we do appreciate it. And with that, we're going to say we're out of here. Deuces.